Yes, hello, and a very warm welcome back to Festival Focus, our latest episode. Well, the calendar has swung into 2023, and with it cometh the man. He's on his holidays. Welcome back, David Mullins.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I was keeping an eye on everything anyway, don't worry.
I heard that you had an eye on absolutely nothing except a ski slope in Austria. You're good and fit from your travels anyway.
Yeah, not as fit as I thought I was, but yeah, I need to get back riding out a bit more.
Is the truth. Well, there's been plenty happening in your absence. The Shark kindly deputised for you in the hot seat last week. But let's get back to business, and we'll start on my side of the Irish Sea, the English side, with Saturday's action in Sandown Park. It was Tolworth Day, but it was also, for the Noel Fehily Racing Syndicate, a very significant day. They had a big double, which began, and depending whether you're English or French, it's either Love Envoy or Love Envoi. Either way, she's a prolific mare, this. She's 8 from 9, and, well, this was an easy win in the listed Mares Hurdle, after which she's earmarked for a similar race next month at Warwick. And if she comes through that assignment, you'd surely say that last season's Mares Novices Hurdle winner will surely be heading back to Cheltenham for the Mares Hurdle. She's doing very nicely so far. She's tough, she's consistent, she likes it at Cheltenham. She's 4-1 or 9-2 for a festival target. What do we make of Love Envoy?
She's a really lovely mare, really likeable. She's tough, she's gritty. Typical Westerner, came from the Pine Field as well. Just never knows when they're beat. And to grind it out up that hill again in Sandown on soft or heavy ground as it was last Saturday, she just never doesn't show up. You'd really have to like her attitude. And if it rained on Tuesday morning for Cheltenham, I think there could be a lot of people running scared from her.
And that versatility as well, of course. She's been there and done it at Cheltenham. That's a massive asset, to say that she's got form on a range of tracks. But of course, she's been there and done it in the heat of the battle at the festival. That has to be a huge plus.
Definitely, she's shown her fondness for the track, and the extra 2 furlongs, I'm sure she's going to relish it. We've seen with Honeysuckle during the week that if she doesn't go for the champion hurdle, she goes nowhere else. And Ep.10 isn't in the entries at this stage. Nicky Henderson forgot to do it, he says, but I don't know. I'd be taking my chance on either of Love Envoy or the Jetaway mare of Willie's. I can't. Brandy Love.
Yeah, Brandy Love's interesting because we don't see her very often, but she looks extremely talented. Excuse me. And the other one, of course, is Honeysuckle, who Connection's coming out and saying it will be not the Mares Hurdle for her. It will be the champion hurdle, or even the R word, retirement, if she's not showing enough. They were happy with what she produced in Fairy House. That's another story. But of course, the door could be open for Love Envoy. We talked about the Noel Fehily Racing Syndicate, David. Well, of course, the second part of their big double came in the big race on Saturday. That was the Group 1 Tolworth Novices Hurdle. I like the look of Tamurus, who's a big, rangy, scopy, long-legged horse. He's a powerful horse. He's not perfect yet, but of course, he's got the L plates on. He's in novice company. Made a mistake at the second last. Made a mistake at the last. Hung left as he was driven close home, but he had more than enough to see off Lastro Boy and Nemean Lion. And we talk about versatility with Love Envoy. Well, this guy, if you think since November the 2nd, he's a perfect 3 from 3 over hurdles. And look at the tracks he's achieved his wins on. Chepstow, Haydock, Sandown. There's a lot of variety in there. He's a likeable sort.
Yeah, he's definitely a likeable horse. He reminds me a lot of Somerville Boy. Obviously, I think won the Tolworth as well. I'm not sure if it was the Tolworth or the Challow. Somerville Boy won, but there's something about him. He looks like a big square galloping machine, and if he does, as you say, with the L plates on, he has plenty of brushing up to do for Cheltenham. But if he does come on with the runs, I'm sure he's going to take a lot of beating. He looks very solid.
Here's the question, because his trainer, like you, was busy on Skyscanner booking his flights. He's now in Antigua, Paul Nicholls, with 101 winners in the bank and counting for the season. This guy, Tamurus, 14 or 16-1 for the Ballymore, 10-1 for the Supreme. and trained by a man who isn't completely in thrall and beholden to Cheltenham, and is more than happy to pass it over and have a look at perhaps Aintree, perhaps Punchestown, perhaps a view to his chasing campaign. If you were being asked to ride this horse, in which race would you like to ride him? Or would you be whispering in the trainer's ear, I think we can do more with this guy elsewhere, don't go to Cheltenham?
I'm a big fan of Facile Vega and of Hermes Allen. I'm not sure this guy's going to beat either of those two, but you can never be afraid of one horse. So it's Cheltenham in this day and age. I know everyone says it's not the be all and end all, but it is. I think you have to go, especially for the syndicate. I don't know which race you'd run him in. When you have Hermes Allen, that looks the best of what you have. I'd take on Facile Vega with this guy.
Intriguing. Facile Vega, who of course is favourite currently for when we look around, at least prominence in the betting for a couple of those novices. So that really is intriguing. Let's switch to Naas on Sunday, because of course it was Lawler's Novice Hurdle Day there, but it was also a day where not one, but not two, but three horses threw their name into the hat for the festival. Kicking off with a horse who's won in Cheltenham herself previously, the 2021 Mares Novices Hurdle winner, and a horse who might have won again last year, but for falling. That's Tell Me Something Girl. I'm really intrigued to ask you about her, David, because if you were being asked to ride Tell Me Something Girl, yes, she came through what developed into a match race against Instit. Only two of them finished, and ultimately she won going away. But, and this is a big but, I counted 5 separate mistakes on the way round. And go back to last April, of course, she was a faller over hurdles at Punchestown. Is she one who would have the alarm bells ringing for you in terms of her technique, or is she a hint of value for the mare's chase at 14 or 16 to 1?
I don't know if there's much value at it. I stood down at the last fence in Naas, and it was the fastest race I'd say I run all day. Paul Townend went a right good gallop on Instit, and she made those mistakes in behind him. When you go that gallop, normally you don't get away with making those mistakes. She obviously has plenty of ability. The jumping, it is sketchy, but her performance was as good as it gets, I thought. I just think there's a lot of better mares out there. I don't think you're going to get away with making them mistakes in Cheltenham when you have possibly 4 or 5 others around you. Like Colin Murphy's mare, a few of Willie's, Ellie May, and it's just going to be that much tougher. I think Willie has a few stronger ones, and Colin Murphy's mare is there as well.
Say no more. The one I'm really looking forward to asking you about, and those of you who have been joining us for Festival Focus, if you're a first timer, refer back, if you get the chance, on the YouTube channel to episode 7, because possibly the most powerful sequence of comments so far from David Mullins about horses that he has a very good line into came in episode 7 about a horse called Appreciate It, who won the 2021 Supreme Novices Hurdle. David, in episode 7, after this horse won in Punchestown, you called him stuffy. You said there was masses of improvement to come, and you said he could potentially sharpen up enormously, mentally and physically. Well, he has come out again. He has won again in Naas on Sunday. Are all those attributes what you saw as he went breezing round unchallenged to win? And off the back of that, you've already spoken a pretty persuasive argument in his favour. If the John Bond team were at least peeping over their shoulder previously with a view to the Arkle, for which Appreciate It is now 5 to 1, would they now be actually starting to perspire a little bit because he's improving and he's got absolutely 0 miles on the clock? Appreciate It.
I think if I was the John Bond team, I don't think I'd be looking over my shoulder any more than I probably was. I don't think we learned a whole lot. He was 1 to 8. He had a look around again in front, and he didn't beat any sort of a Cheltenham horse or a contender. With Dysart Dynamo making their running in Leopardstown at Christmas, they're keen to get on and go a good gallop with him. You'd imagine he's probably going to go for the Arkle. I think they might be stepping this guy up and trip. I don't know, but that'd be, from what I see, he looks the prime candidate for it, unless they're going to run 2, which I can't really see. I think this guy could be stepping up and trip. Everything about this horse, looks wise, jumping wise, Galloping wise and work wise at home. He just has Gold Cup written all over him, or maybe King George. I don't know if he'll get the trip, but he's getting on now, and I'd like to see him stepping up and trip and possibly show everyone what I thought of the horse. Anyway, I know that doesn't matter, but he was a freak when I was in Willie's before he got injury. So listen, you have to see whether they come back. We see a few horses that have had time off, like this guy. They don't always come back to the same level of ability, but hopefully for this lad, I really hope he shows what he can do.
Well, never let it be forgotten that on Wednesday, the 11th of January 2023, David Mullins might just have shown us the Gold Cup winner of 2024. Appreciate it. And in between times, maybe he's going to step up in trip at Cheltenham. The Turner Novices Chase, the longer option, 5-1 for the Arkle, 8-1 for the Turner. Is that the each way value? He's won his last 2 starts. We've seen him in Punchestown. We've seen him in Naas. Also in Naas, we saw the Grade 1 Lawlers of Naas Novice Hurdle, that great hotel at the top of the street. Every good judge knows that the stake on the stone is the Nat bet in Lawlers. But the Nat bet on Sunday was Champ Kylie, who made all under Danny Mullins, bold and enterprising ride. And what I like about Champ Kylie, David Mullins, you might tell me otherwise. Good strike rate, 3 from 4 over hurdles. He's done it on a range of ground. With that in mind, is he now a serious Ballymore Novices Hurdle candidate? Bookies put him in around about 6-1, which puts him prominent in a market where the likes of, well, we've already talked about Gaelic Warrior, Hermes Allen. Would Champ Kylie, based upon what we've seen, particularly on Sunday with his Grade 1 success, be in the frame for the Ballymore?
He's definitely in the frame. I thought it was a very good ride from Danny. He's very dangerous from the front. I'm sure if I was the jockey that was given instructions to line up midway or something and he's seen Danny jumping off in front, he's going to keep plenty for him to get to the line or at least halfway up the running. I thought it was a good ride. I was surprised he ran so keen in the Royal Bond and Fairy House. And I was at Naas on Sunday and I walked up and I said, surely William Mullins will have earplugs and chiffney on him. He had a simple snaffle bit, no earplugs. I couldn't believe it. And obviously they were going to make the running with him. But I'm sure this is the way forward for this horse. So the Ballymore looks to be the one for him.
And in terms of all of those factors you've just mentioned, is there a threat that he's a boil over at Cheltenham in front of 50,000 people with the pomp, the ceremony, the occasion, frankly, the noise and all of the pressure that comes with that?
Definitely a big threat. There's a fair chance he will. I seen Danny got a leg up on him very early. He was down at the start 3 or 4 minutes before everyone else. It's not ideal, but we've seen that last year. Facile Vega didn't bother him, and we haven't talked about it again this year. John Bond, that was the talking horse for that last year. Didn't really happen to him. Aidan Coleman said he was a lamb. It's just something they do to keep the lid on him. But I'm sure they'll have it all figured out by the time they get to Cheltenham what they're going to do. Of
course. And I will just say, we talked about all of the victory stories of Saturday and Sunday. One disappointment was Grange Clare West, who was very much well found in the market for the Grade 1. And yet, I know it probably wasn't beating a million miles in 5th, but that was disappointing. Any observation there, Grange Clare West? What went wrong?
He looked very well in the parade ring. I'm sure he's a horse with injuries. He'd been off the track for so long before his maiden hurdle win in Navan. I presume, I know I'm only presuming that maybe he mightn't have been trained as hard as the rest of them. It was his second run over hurdles. Irish Point had run the Grade 1. Champ Kylie had won a Grade 3 and run the Grade 1. Could he be just that bit further back behind them as regards training? I think so, and could it lead us to a nice handicap mark for something like the Martin Pipe?
Interesting, very interesting. The clues are there, folks. That is just about all for this week's episode of Festival Focus. As is customary, with David back in the hot seat, with the choices being Love Envoy, Tamurus, Tell Me Something Girl, Appreciate It, and Champ Kylie. Performance of the week, David Mullins, was?
Love Envoy.
Say no more. Love Envoy, who is 4-1 or 9-2 for the Mares Hurdle. We'll be back as ever, same time, same place, in this spot next week to bring you the next helping of Festival Focus. David, thank you. Thanks, folks, for watching. Bye-bye.